Alright, so I've had a lot of people asking me to make a video on how I make my jigs. So we're going to go ahead and make a 1/4 ounce twitching jig. Got some 140 ultra thread here. It's kind of a pinkish, kind of metallic pink. Then we got some pink Flashabou, glows in the dark. Then we're going to use some crosscut two-toned rabbit strips, purple and hot pink. And then we're going to use some Magnum cut black rabbit fur. So we're going to go ahead and get a bed going on this jig. I usually go almost to the shank, especially on twitching jigs. You want to have a lot of room. Get a nice bed going. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Magnum cut. So a lot of people cut these different lengths. Usually I like to get about 2 inches. That way it's not in the way of, if the fish were to bite it, would only get the tail if it was too long and miss the hook. So we want to make it where if the fish goes for the tail, it's going to get the shank of the hook. And we're going to go ahead and get rabbit fur on there, do a couple loose loops on there, just so you could get it tight, and then go ahead and get a good layer on it. Kind of clean it up if you get some fur around the edges. Doesn't really matter too much. You're going to be wrapping it with crosscut. And now we're going to go ahead and put some Flashabou on here. And go ahead and use about 5-6 strands. Usually I like to make it just shorter than the tail. It's barely shorter. Probably about 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch. Probably about 1/4 inch. And then for this stuff, you want to go ahead and do another few loose loops on there first. Otherwise you're going to be fighting it, wrapping around the jig, trying to get it tied on there. You can spread it out if you want to. And we're going to go ahead and get our crosscut, purple and hot pink. For this, we're going to start it back here, so bring the bobbin back. And then once again for this, do a couple loose loops before you try getting it embedded on there good. And helps if you have a rotating vise. I don't have one, but I do it just as well without, so just kind of wrap it around, and I'll usually just overlap just a tiny bit where I'm covering that little strip of leather there, so there's none of that showing. Gives it a little thicker body too. And while you're wrapping it, you want to go ahead and brush the rabbit fur out of the way. Brush it back towards the back end of the jig. And since we're going for a fuller body jig here, we're going to do probably about 4 wraps, maybe 5. Yeah, there we go. And go ahead and spread the fur so you ain't got a bunch to clean up after you're done, even though rabbit fur is pretty easy to clean up. Go ahead and string the bobbin tight. And you're going to pull this. Whoa, the vise is a little loose. You can go ahead and pull this kind of towards the front of the eye of the hook or the jig. And just do a couple loose wraps. We're not worrying about getting it tight quite yet, because we're going to go ahead and flip it back this way. Do a few tight ones this way. That way it's nice and in place. It's not going to move around on you. And then you can cut it as tight as you can get it. Alright, and now to clean up the rabbit fur, it's pretty easy, pretty simple. Just make sure you brush back the rabbit fur itself on here. And just do some tight loops here. Do a couple half hitches. Tighten it up. Make sure it's brushed back. I like to do a couple sets of half hitches, especially when I'm not using head cement on it. Oh, that works. Then you use head cement on it, or you could use fingernail polish, the clear stuff. Go ahead and cut as close as you can. Sometimes the yarn gets frayed out. But there we go. Nice simple twitching jig. Sometimes I put legs on them. Sometimes I put different kind of flashing. Alright, and that's our finished product. Nice simple twitching jig. You can use all sorts of different colors, different types of rabbit fur. You use them in different different sizes too for the jigs. I'm gonna go ahead and make another video here soon. I realized that probably didn't get that great of close-ups. See if we could do better next video. Probably do some marabou jigs in the next video. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and subscribe for more.